Would you like to accelerate your career and reach your full potential in just minutes a day? Welcome to the LEADx Show with New York Times best-selling author and Inc. 500 entrepreneur, Kevin Kruse.
Welcome to the LEADx Leadership Show, everyone. I am Kevin Kruse, and I should say welcome to the Friday edition of the show, where I don't interview a guest, I interview my stream of consciousness mind. Hopefully it won't get too crazy, but I am feeling pretty good, and it might have something to do with the second cup of awesome coffee I'm drinking, but I think it also has something to do with the fact that we are halfway through the first quarter of 2018, and I'm feeling on track. Now, if that sounds weird to you, halfway through the first quarter, like a weird metric, I try to run my life and my companies on a quarterly system. You know, I think a lot of people set New Year's resolutions and they have a goal for the year, whether it's, lose weight or write a book or start a business or grow sales. And I think that's great. I like big, hairy, audacious goals, BHAGs that are like 3 to 5 years out. I like annual goals. But to really execute, to get things done, it's like 90-day work sprints are where it's at and being really intentional about that. So we're halfway through the first quarter. Now, of course, if you're a manager in a big company, you're probably familiar with this, especially if your company is publicly traded. You're really marching on quarterly earnings statements for better or for worse, which is probably for worse. And my number, I certainly look at the financials, but what I do business-wise is a version of, like Google has popularized, objectives and key results, OKRs, where you cascade from the top of the organization down using a traditional hierarchy. And in different areas, you say, what's our objective for the quarter? What are the key results, that will tell us if we've hit it or not? So for example, at LEADx, we are looking to, in the first quarter, launch 55 new video lessons. I mean, that's the key result that I'm looking at. And the objective is to build out our new suite of manager training, new manager training, leadership training. And so I can just actually see, we're halfway through the quarter. I want 55 new lessons, and we've got 29 of them done or nearly done. We're ahead of schedule. And I have different buckets for the organization. Product development is one, marketing is another, sales is another, operations, that's all the boring back office stuff, which these days is like recruiting. We're doing a lot of recruiting. And then finances, the money that unfortunately, does need to flow to keep us on mission. And this works for your personal life too. I don't want to get too deep into the business stuff. For myself, I always say I'm a simple guy, so I have my 3 to thrive: my health, my wealth, my relationships. These are the areas that I think about, daily. And whether again you're looking to lose weight or run 5K or whatever it is, having these 90-day objectives with key results specified, so you'll know if you can just measure if you've achieved it or not, and then looking at it week by week is just really powerful. Hey, in a minute, I'm going to answer a question from a nurse who's working on the overnight shift and struggling with productivity. But first, I want to dedicate this show to 3 people: Jeff Eagle, Faustivus, and Don Quixote, although Don Quixote is spelled like Donkey Hoti, which I love. These are 3 people who left reviews up on iTunes over the last week. Please, please, please. Help us to keep this show on the air with the family growing, with the LEADx family growing. If you haven't already, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you're listening to the show and leave a quick rating and review. It usually takes like less than a minute. If you don't know how to do that, you can always just open up a web browser, type leadx.org/subscribe, and that's going to bounce you to the iTunes page for the LEADx show, and you can just click some stars, which goes a long way. And our review of the week is Faustivus. Daily, I appreciate the guidance and wisdom the LEADx show provides. I started with Kevin's 15 Secrets book on time management, still refer to it. Then I began subscribing to the podcast, and now I am a paid LEADx Academy subscriber. Thank you very much, Faustivus. You are a pioneer. You are helping us to get great, innovative stuff out there. And let's see, you say you've recommended the content to all your friends and coworkers. So thank you so much for that, Faustus. Send us an email, info@leadx.org. Because we read your review on the air, we want to send you some LEADx swag in the mail. And everybody who's already left a review or you're getting ready to, leave the review. And even if I don't read it on the air, just send us an email and say, hey, yo, I just left a rating on iTunes. And Jackie is going to send you a double top secret link to get you into our private VIP group on Facebook, where we give away books and ask questions and support each other and all kinds of cool stuff. And what else? Oh, the other thing I wanted to share, why part of why I think my year is going so well is I'm on a new workout kick. You know, the health stuff has always been my weakest thing. And I've started a new way of working out, which is once a week for 30 minutes. Now, this is for strength training. And if you want to learn more about this program, basically the idea is that to build strength and muscle, you really only need to be working out, at least to failure, once a week. It takes that many days for your muscle to recover and be ready to be broken down again in a workout. Some research might suggest twice a week would be a little bit better. But for entrepreneurs, for busy people, for single working parents, it's so hard to find that workout time in, right? So now I know in my mind I've got an effective program, 30 minutes. I do mine on Saturdays, sometimes on a Sunday. I can find 30 minutes on a weekend. I can't usually find that time or make that time, I should say, Monday through Friday. And if you want to learn about sort of the science behind this, there's a book called Body by Science, Dr. Doug McCuff. You can also find Dr. Doug McCuff's videos on YouTube if you search for those. And of course, how I got into it is a good friend let me know that there was a new gym that opened up in Center City, Philadelphia, where I live, called X-Force. And in addition to this once a week workout, the other sort of secret is to understand the negative weight training. Now, normally, if you're lifting weights, I'm trying to keep this simple. Like, let's say you're doing a dumbbell curl. You're holding a dumbbell, free weight, and you're curling it up. So you're working your bicep. I think most of us know what that move is. Most of the time, the way I've always worked out with Body for Life or others, is that you're stressing the muscle on the up, and then you're kind of just letting, controlling that weight back down. You're not really worrying about that. Well, the system I'm doing now, it puts more emphasis on the negative, on the down. So you lift up for like 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, you hold at the peak, and then you take a 5 count on the controlled down. And if you don't think that makes much of a difference, you got to try it. I mean, people who, whatever your weight and reps you're doing, if you do a 5-second or longer controlled on the negative, you're only going to be able to do half the reps that you're used to doing. It's like really working that muscle on the down as much as on the up. So it's a much more efficient workout. So anyway, by the time I'm done with my 30 minutes at this X-Force gym, and I'm forgetting the name of the trainer there, he's like this renowned strength coach, that's for decades has been training people. I am wobbly on the way out, and I feel the pain. They call it delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS. I can feel that pain for like 5 days afterwards. I mean, that's how intense of a workout it is. So we'll see. It's still early in the year, but I'm loving it. I'm seeing, increased results every time. I still try to do the 20 minutes of cardio every day. That's more for mental health and, just productivity and brain and energy. But for strength training, instead of doing it every other day or whatever your program was, I think, once a week is where it's at. Okay, our question of the week comes from Wanda. She says, I am a neonatal ICU registered nurse and work 12-hour night shifts. I really love your book, 15 Secrets Successful People Know About Time Management. I've tried to-do lists and I've never been able to finish them. I like the concept of scheduling and have started putting it into practice, but one problem. I don't have a regular schedule. I don't have a 9-to-5 job, and I sleep during the day, and then on my days off, I try to be normal in my schedule. However, I fail. I'm up all hours of the night, can't sleep during the day. I tend to nap here and there. So with all that, what do you suggest for me to accomplish this concept of scheduling tasks? Thanks, Wanda. Wanda, first, thanks so much for the work that you're doing as a neonatal ICU nurse. I don't talk about this often, but my daughter, Natalie, who's now a healthy, spunky 17-year-old, when she was about 2 hours old or 3 hours old, and we were in the hospital and she was being held by her mom, all of a sudden, we noticed she had stopped breathing, and it was bad. It looked really bad. And within seconds, I was racing into the hallway with Natalie in my hands, screaming, "My baby stopped breathing, my baby stopped breathing." And 3 nurses came rushing out and grabbed her and, resuscitated her. And the doctors came, and then she was in the ICU for a while and was diagnosed with infant apnea. And as I say, it all worked out well. But ever since then, I think before then I appreciated what nurses do, but boy, that morning and the support we had in the ICU was just really incredible. So thanks for what you do. Now, Wanda, you're in a tough situation, one of the toughest situations, and I'm not going to have a good answer for you. People who work on what they call the graveyard shift or the overnight shift, it's really tough on your health. And I know people need to do it. We need people to do it. But it does take wear and tear, on your physical and I believe, mental health. It's a really tough spot to be in. And as you hint, I don't think your challenge here is a scheduling challenge. I think it's a sleep challenge. And I often say, we can't manage our time. We can only manage our energy. Everything goes back to energy. So I talk about, drinking a gallon of water a day. I talk about fast walking around the block for 20 minutes to wake up the body and the mind. And I always talk about sleep. And in your case, let's focus on that. Although when sleep is tough to get, water, hydration and water and having the balanced low carb meals, so you've got steady glucose states, all of that's more important than ever before. So that's the baseline. And then when it comes to sleep, first of all, I say, everybody's always worrying about trying to get the 8 hours of sleep or the 7 hours or the 6 hours. It's a quantity thing. And I say, yes, that's ideal, but it's not just about tossing and turning in your bed for 8 hours and saying, well, I got 8 hours of sleep. It's quality sleep. It's getting the deep REM in. And as a healthcare professional, I'm sure you're, familiar with a lot of what I'm talking about. So, it's about, I'd rather have 4 to 5 hours of deep sleep where you're getting 2 or 3 of your deep sleep cycles in than 8 hours of sleep where you're never reaching, those deep sleep points. So if you're not already doing it when you're trying to sleep on any of your days, then, you want total darkness, total quiet. It's going to be hard to do, because probably your household is up and abound and UPS people are knocking on your door and everything. But whether it's, eye masks and earplugs or white noise machines to drown out the background noise, whether it's putting your pets on a food timer so they're not waking you up and jumping on your bed, do whatever you can to keep all external stimuli out and maximize your sleep. And listeners, this is for everybody. We should all be doing this. Sleep is so key to physical and mental health and energy and productivity. We need to focus on that deep sleep. Wanda, you're in a tough spot because, again, to get the best sleep, you'd probably just stay on that reverse schedule 7 days a week from a sleep standpoint. But of course, on your days off, you probably want to see family and friends and all the rest. So I get it that you try to then flip back to the normal schedule. It's going to be very difficult. The only other thing I would suggest, obviously, I am not a doctor and I don't use any kind of, insomnia pills or sleep medication myself. But I think in situations where people are working the graveyard shift, have a talk with your physician about whether, you should be taking something to help you get into sleep and deep sleep more quickly. I think, it's an appropriate use in many of these cases. The other thing, Wanda, would be back to your scheduling, because I know you didn't ask me about how do you sleep better. So it just goes back to those principles, which scheduling is really about values. So it's more important than ever before to say, all right, I've got my 3 days off and I'm going to try to sleep on the regular schedule, and it's going to be hard. But what do I value, on those days? If I value my kids or my spouse, then what does that look like? Does that mean I spend 1 hour with them or 4 hours with them? If I value my health, does that mean I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours a day or walk around the block for 15 minutes? Only you can decide that, but you just need to be intentional. I've got 3 days off. I know I'm going to struggle with sleep. And so I need to make the most of my awake times. What is it that I value, in friends, family, paying the bills, cleaning the house, whatever it is, and how much time am I going to allocate? Just be mindful and intentional with it, and then try to map that out. And then again, God bless you with what you do and your sleep schedule. Do anything you can to try to get that deep sleep on those 3 days off. Good luck, Wanda, and thank you for that question. Friends, I'm going to sign off, but once again, I need your help on my 10-year mission to spark 100 million intentional leaders. I certainly can't do it alone. If you haven't already gone to leadx.org, go there and check out the free course of the day. Every day we put up a new course. I teach many of them, but there's also other guests and other rock star presenters and educators we've got on there. So tell your friends. I mean, it's no cost, doesn't even take an email. You just go to leadx.org. It's like watching TV. You learn something for 30 minutes. And if you like what you see, if you want to learn about how to become more productive, if you want to learn how to become a great boss, if you want to learn how to become a better communicator, if you want to learn how to build your personal brand, how to write for Forbes, all that stuff is in the LEADx Academy, $7 a month. That's like the price of a smoothie. So check it out. It's free for 3 days. Just sign up, check it out for 3 days, and hopefully you will stick around. The LEADx Academy, it's at leadx.org. Tell everyone. And remember, leadership, it's not a choice, because leadership is influence. So as you ease into this weekend, realize you are leading your family. You are leading your neighbors. You are leading those around you on the sidelines of soccer. And boy, have I seen some bad leadership among the parents on the sidelines of soccer games. Leadership is not a choice. Remember, be mindful, be intentional. How are you going to lead today?